Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Boundaries. It's your girl Aisha checking in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, today, guys, we are going to talk from a perspective of um, a defining moment, and the focus is about the defining part. And I want to share with you my definition, what I believe a defining moment is. So, a defining moment can be a pivotal moment in your life. It has the ability to impact you positively, negatively. It could be, as we say, good, bad, or indifferent. Um, it can be something that can build you up or take you down, depending upon how you allow it to affect you mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, and relationally, because those are the core parts of us. Our mindsets, our heart sets, which is in our spirit, um, our relational perspectives with ourself, with family, and our loved ones. It can impact us financially in how we move in our workspace or in our entrepreneurial space. Um, and so, yeah. So, with that being said, I wanted to define that it and also say that it outside of being a big part or a small part, because everything plays a role in your life. So we don't want to minimize anything that has like adversely affected someone, or something that could be small that made someone's day. We don't want to minimize that. We don't want to blow things out of proportion that had a huge impact negatively or positively in our lives. We want to think things through, because um, our emotions have the ability, if you allow them, to manipulate the situation or magnify the situation, make it out to be something that it's not. And then you have buyer's remorse for the words that came out of your mouth during that defining moment. You have buyer's remorse for your actions in regards to, uh, decisions that you made that could have been detrimental to you or someone else, or if you made not so great decisions in a moment that appeared to be something that was positive, but it was just the timing was wrong. So we want to be mindful of those things. Defining moments, I want to read this to you guys. Defining moments can be success, it could be failures, it could be, it could bring understanding, it could bring wisdom. It can also be life changing events in your health, wealth. It could be loss, it could be gain. And those losses and gains could be on all levels. Like I said, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, or relationally, or in your career settings as well. So when you have those moments, and I'm going to give you some examples, like, so we won't be ignorant of the enemy's devices when situations occur. So let's just break it down for a minute. So I'm gonna take myself for example. My whole life is like a defining moment. It's been a defining journey, if I can be honest with you, that I've experienced in these wonderful 49 years on this earth. So we've talked about divorce, we've talked about things of that nature. So I'll just take myself for example. So, like when I was going through divorce, that was a defining moment for me. And what should have been, and don't get me wrong, um, it was hurtful. It was a lot of emotions, like a roller coaster. But I didn't let it break me. You know what I'm saying? So while I had like a lot of emotional situations where I I was a real like a cursor back then. So, I cursed a lot. I was like angry and frustrated and just like in survival mode a lot, just going through just to get through. And once I got over that first hump, I would say because I didn't have peace when it first happened. So I asked God for in my not so great relationship with him at that moment, I asked God to give me peace, help me forgive, and help me move forward. So there are some people who are stuck in moments like that. So what was tumultuous and hurtful and could have just been like really, really negative thing in my life and like been over me like a dark cloud. Um, I asked God to help me with that, help me forgive, help me to not be angry, help me to have peace and things of that nature. So, and He did just that. Now, on the flip side of that, um, if I hadn't reached out to God, that could have went a whole nother way. You know what I'm saying? I could have um, been angry and bitter, ruining all the relationships around me. I could have been a heartless, unforgiving woman and just like not good company, not the person that you see and hear from. And I would have never been doing any of these things because I would have been wasting my life rotting away in unforgiveness and bitterness and strife. And that's not the life God had planned for me. And that's not the road that I chose to take. So, in that defining moment, what could have been, had a ripple effect of being like horrible. Not saying that it didn't hurt and that it didn't happen, because we won't say that, but it did happen. It did hurt, but we didn't dwell there. We didn't stay there. We didn't sit in it. We did move past it. So, in moving past it, in that pivotal moment, in that defining moment, I found joy again. I found peace. So my mental state of being, my emotional state of being changed, in which that affected how I worked in at my job. That affected how I maneuvered in my relationships at home with myself, with my children, with my family. So it had like a full circle moment. And so another defining moment for me was like um, being financially free. So I figured I would give you an example of what was like not so great, negative kind of thing, and an example of being not being in debt, not having um, such pressure to perform and keep like being on this hamster wheel with work and not being at home when my kids were younger and just work. And then there was a break where I was able to experience financial freedom and be able to pay off all the debts that I did have, like, accumulated from being in marriage, going to school and getting a degree and things of that nature. Even ended up getting like student loan forgiveness for quite a bit of, I would say like 90%, 95% of my student loans. So, in being free in that defining moment, it I garnered wisdom on how to say no, on how to set boundaries in my finances, on how to um, not just like go out and get like all type of credit cards and things. Like I've seen people who file for bankruptcy or they just don't pay what they're responsible for, and then they just kind of just start this new life and do whatever else, and it's like that's not a good move. That's not, you didn't learn anything. You pivoted in a different direction from the debt, but it's still following you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I learned how to better handle my finances from not having a lot and how to move forward. So it's like, no matter what your situation is, it could be um, divorce, it could be finances, it could even be getting married. That's a defining moment. It's like you are coming from two different worlds, two different ways of thinking. We'll just say someone who's 25, 30. You've been raised in two different family settings and operated individually for 25, 30 years. And now you love each other and you're coming to this point where you are going to be one sound, one band, one movement. And while it feels good, it sounds good, all the aesthetics for the wedding and everything looks great, the rings, the groomsmen, the bridesmaids, everything sounds wonderful. And that is a defining moment. That is a good moment. If you don't put in the work, there will be another defining moment. So, what I'm trying to say is, in all of your defining moments, it requires a different level of you. It requires you to be kind of like a chameleon. You're changing, you're forever changing. These moments can have a negative or a positive effect in your life. So, you're forever changing and you are pivoting in those moments, and you have to make decisions and decide if this is a good experience or a bad experience. What have I learned from this? How do I recover? How do I move better in the future so we don't come back here again? And if this is a good experience, how do I maintain it? What work needs to be done to continue to sow seed in this ground and make sure that it flourishes in my relationship or in my finances or with my family? Whatever it is that is flourishing, you have to continue to till the ground and water it and make sure that it grows and protect it, you know? So it's like, in these defining moments, what will you do? That is the question of the day. What will you do in these defining moments? Will you allow the negative moments to destroy your life, take away your peace, and give you mental health issues and ruin your relationships? It's like you're going to walk around being Wreck-It Ralph for the rest of your life because of what occurred? Or will you turn the corner and pivot and do something new? Will you have a new mindset, a new perspective on the situation? Will you find the blessing in the situation? Will you find peace in knowing that, okay, what was is no longer, but I can continue and do something new? So as always, guys, I want to encourage you to be the greatest versions of yourself. So when you have these defining moments and you come to these pivotal points and you have to make these decisions to walk away from a situation that's not benefiting and not flourishing, uh, don't take the negativity with you. Move forward in a great way and build better. If you are in a situation where everything seems to be great and you're on good ground and it's a good defining moment, make sure you do the work and you continue to make that thing grow and flourish and not be stagnant. Because sometimes, we get in that point where we feel like, oh, well, I've achieved level 1 and this is great. No, you got to keep going. You got to keep growing. So that's important. So as always, guys, I want to encourage you to be the greatest versions of yourself. Stay safe and God bless.